Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Carrow Road. Here again, the second time in 3 days for Norwich City against Middlesbrough. Feels like a big night for reasons that we will discuss in due course. We're, of course, here to deliver you the team news, which will come in a couple of minutes or so. To be honest, not even sure it's worth predicting what's going to happen or who's going to be in there. One thing we do know is that Angus Gunn isn't. We've just seen him take a walk across the pitch, I imagine having done some duties in amongst the sponsors' boxes at the top of the south stand. So I wouldn't expect him to be in tonight. But he was walking unaided, and he looked to be walking pretty well. So that's good. And I don't think we're expecting that to be a particularly long one. But we'll update when we speak to David Wagner afterwards. Paddy, I'm not going to ask you about the team because we're about a minute away from that now. But tonight, we just kind of said it feels quite big, doesn't it, for Norwich City?
Yeah, it's funny actually as we're talking on the big rotating screen. They've currently got the highlights of that 4-4 madcap game here. When Norwich were 4-1 down, weren't they, at that point? And 8 goals, yeah. Don't know if we'll see 8 goals tonight, but just looking at one or two of the initial predictions, positive there from Jim. 1-0 Norwich.
The big coats have been activated, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really big coat weather, is it? But you kind of...
It will be later, I think.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, but it's certainly in a minute if it was relatively mild. But yeah, it is October, isn't it? And nearly November. So, yeah, it's got to come out, haven't they? But what do we expect? For me, a lot will be dictated by what I see when the team news drops, really, in terms of what you've genuinely thought of that Leeds performance and the personnel involved and how different it is from that. Because for me, that was a continuation of a theme now, right back from probably first half.
And here we go, and I will deliver it to you now. Norwich City have Long in goal, Stacey, Duffy, Gibson and Yanulis as the back four, Sarah and Kenny McLean in the midfield, with Rowe, Nunez and Hernandez behind Adam Eder. So 2 changes. Angus Gunn obviously dropping out for George Long, and Marcelino Nunez coming in for Liam Gibbs as a number 10. And to bring you that subs bench, Anson, Fisher, Bart, Gibbs, Forshaw, Poeta, Fashnak, Sainz and Huang. So just to read you that Norwich City team again, Long in goal, Stacey, Duffy, Gibson and Yanulis as the back four, Sarah and Kenny McLean as the midfield 2, Rowe and Hernandez with Nunez behind Rowe.
Sorry, Colin, I'm just saying that's a great film, Quadrophenia.
Never seen it. What happens?
No, you're far too young. Well, I mean, I'm probably too young for that, but it's about the mods. The mods in...
Are you putting off speaking about Norwich City? That's what I feel tonight.
It's going to be far more interesting to discuss Quadrophenia, one of the great British post-war films. But anyway, we'll move on.
Right, Marcelino Nunez in. What do you make of that? First start of the season, I believe.
Got that set. First start of the season, is it? Yeah.
So.
Okay.
League start, yeah.
Certainly it's the first appearance since, because he played at Bristol City in the League Cup. That was his last appearance, start or off the bench, August 29th. Since when he's obviously gone away. Thank you. Cheers. He's gone away and got himself injured the first international break, and then he topped that by going back to Chile and getting himself sent off in rather ridiculous fashion, which David talked about at his presser yesterday. But, I mean... It's probably on the lines that Liam Gibbs in that role hasn't really cut it, has he? Let's be brutally honest. And he couldn't go Gibbs again, surely not, and he hasn't. And it is an opportunity now. And it underlines for me yet another combination, Nunez supporting Eder, that post-Barnes, post-Sargent, nothing has really emerged as a pair and as 2 individuals to say, OK, we know they're key players. We know Norwich are going to be less as a collective for their absence, but is there something that can bridge to when they get back? So far there hasn't been. We get another example or another experiment tonight, and if we get the Nunez of when he was really good in the Championship last season, then you would hope he will affect this game tonight. But in direct contrast to Zara and his trajectory since he came in the door, it hasn't really happened for him on a consistent basis. So we just hope tonight he shouldn't lack the motivation, should he? Because he hasn't really been in and around it as a frontline option this season. Tonight he is, and if he can really put his stamp on it tonight, then maybe that'll be a key factor in a positive result for Norwich. But other than that, keeper aside, not overly surprised to see he's gone with 10 of the same or 9 of the same outfield players for me. I mean, Science, he was quite clear from his comments to me yesterday that he doesn't quite feel he is still ready for a start, while saying fitness-wise he's there and team sort of understanding he's there, but it didn't scream to me that he was going to go with Science from the start, and so it has proved. But what I do hope is tonight we do see Science, because if not, then, I would question why because certainly in the second half on Saturday, it was crying out for me for a player like that who could have probably attacked being the best form of defence, because when they started to sink deep, what you needed was a player like that who could get the ball, carry it, and get them up the pitch. So, yeah, I want to see Sainz at some point tonight, but I'll bowl that one back to you, Connor. Nunes in the 10, happy?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was the most obvious direction, wasn't it, after what happened at the weekend? Obviously, we didn't see Nunez, so it should be an element of freshness to him, having not played at the weekend and obviously having played for Chile and did score in that first game against Chile. So maybe there is a little bit of form to it. I think he's a player who can go and support Ademida in terms of the pressing. I remember a game early here at Carrow Road. I can't remember who it was against last season, where he won the ball high up the pitch and slotted Temi Pukki through. So there is evidence that he can do that. I think it might have been Coventry. No Tony Springett on the bench, which is interesting, and much debate obviously about the back four and the midfield too.
Keeper as well, Connor.
Yeah, Caleb Anson. It's obviously much debate about who was going to fill that as well, and it is young Caleb Anson on the bench. Although expecting John McCracken to probably return to the club from his loan at Accrington to post tomorrow, basically when they can do that option. Let's bring you the Middlesbrough team, which we can flash up now, and your names will immediately be drawn to the centre of midfield, and a certain Johnny Howson wearing the captain's armband for Middlesbrough tonight. They line up like this: Dieng in goal, Vandenberg, Fry, McNair and Engel as the back four, Howson and Hackney as the midfield two, Jones on the right, Sam Greenwood on the left on loan from Leeds, with Matt Crooks behind Josh Coburn. Their subs bench: Tom Glover, Daniel Barleza, Matt Clark, Morgan Rogers, who scored the winner for them against Birmingham on Saturday, Alex Gilbert, Dyke Steele, Samuel Silvera, Hayden Coulson and Alex Bangura make up their bench. Middlesbrough, of course, coming into this game off the back of 6 wins on the spin in all competitions, which is quite remarkable and quite daunting, dare I say. I mean, let's speak about that defensive setup, Paddy, because there's been so much debate for so many weeks about the back four and changing it, and bringing in Danny Bart, who is yet to make a start from Norwich City, having signed late on deadline day over a month ago now. Where's your head at? Because two centre backs that, you know, Ben Lee wrote a piece this morning kind of saying that the profile of the centre backs is probably exposing the system, and the system is probably exposing the centre backs. Norwich don't have a lot of control centrally in these games. The fear is with Middlesbrough's attacking talent, I guess, of a repeat story. Are you confident Norwich City can avoid that tonight with that back four?
Well, I mean, it feels more of the same, and not only in personnel, but if it's more of the same in terms of approach. And as he said yesterday, when I put that one to him directly, that for him it's about them being better at what they're trying to do with the ball, and if they do, then they won't turn the ball over. They won't be so vulnerable to defensive transitions. But placing an awful lot of emphasis on Hernandez, on Ida, on Nunes tonight, Johnny Rowe, to be almost faultless in possession, and that's probably unrealistic. So your fear is that, you know, if Borough have the pace in forward areas to do what Leeds did, then there'll be that chasm again in sort of the middle part of the pitch, and the back four will again be under intense pressure. And Ben for me was spot on. You know, it does expose two centre backs who don't really want to be isolated in those areas of the pitch where they're up against pace and there's not a lot in behind them in terms of, you know, cover. That they clearly are happier. Like the Coventry game, and I know it was Gibson who put through his own net, but that for me is the type of game those centre backs like playing, where they can almost camp on the edge of their own 18-yard box and kick and head things away. Yes, we know Gibson is good with the ball at his feet, but in terms of defensively, that's the profile of centre back he's got. And Bart, as everything we hear and have seen in his career, is all cut from the same cloth. So, you know, Hanley isn't too far away now. Whether he changes up dramatically, it's hard to see that. For me, it rests doing something different in terms of the structure, and when they do lose the ball, particularly when they've got the fullbacks bombing on, what's he doing to counteract that in terms of the structure? You know, is it placing more of an onus on a McLean or a Sarah to basically sit deeper? And if you do that, do you take a little bit away from their game in terms of the offensive elements? It's, as you said, 5 minute worth of answer, and it finished with, we need to get the balance right. You do need to get the balance right. You need to be better when you're in possession, but crucially, when you do lose the ball, you get turned over. You need to be far better than go on then 2 passes and you're in on our goal. So time will tell. It's another opportunity tonight, but listening to that answer, I didn't get the sense of a man who thought, right, we need to go away and lock ourselves in a darkened room and come up with a brand new structure in terms of what we're doing against the ball. So, you know, maybe it'll be less about Norwich, and will Borough try and exploit that? Or, I mean, by all accounts, they're a very heavy possession-based team. They might not be looking to cut through in quite such direct fashion. That might suit Norwich a bit more tonight, but if that is the case, it only puts it off for another time you get a team who are Plymouth-esque or Coventry to a degree, or Swansea or Leeds at the weekend. And until they do correct that, I think we're going to have more of the same. So, I don't see a dramatic change in Norwich's approach tonight. So, if they don't change it dramatically, then you fear it might be more of the same to what we saw on Saturday.
Yes. How do you see it going tonight, Paddy? It's feels like a really big game for David Wagner. I think to lose 2 home games in the space of 4 days, especially considering the run that Norwich are on, that would be 2 wins in 10 if they failed to win here tonight. I mean, that form just is not good enough. The conversations that have been ongoing since that Leeds game surrounding David Wagner will continue. How do you see it going? Can you foresee a positive result? That certainly looks a more balanced Norwich City lineup tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if Nunes has a good game and is putting a hell of a lot of emphasis on a man who hasn't kicked a ball, well, started a league game, but certainly not kicked a ball for Norwich in nearly 2 months. I think it was the 29th of August they went to Bristol in the League Cup. But if he had a good game, then by definition, Norwich are probably getting the better of it in terms of in possession. We know they've got ability to score goals with Rowe and Ida to an extent if the service is there. Nunes knows where the goal is. So does Zara, as we all know. So if Nunes plays well, I think Norwich get a result. But that's a big if. So I'm as you say, what isn't in doubt is that they need a result tonight, because if not, obviously a win, but even a draw is something to take to Sunderland. And 2 Carrow Road defeats within 2 or 3 days off the back of how it's gone the other way on the road. Will just add to that, as David acknowledges now, that mood of frustration. So, if that doesn't sharpen the focus tonight, then I don't know what would do. So, all things considered, I can see probably a draw tonight, score draw. You, Connor?
Yeah, I think my head is in a similar place, to be honest with you, and I think both teams would probably be relatively pleased with that if that was the case. I do fear, just in terms of the attacking numbers, Middlesbrough is a second amongst the league, really, in terms of chance creation. So it's going to be really interesting, and we shall see how it goes. I think there is a potential for Norwich here tonight to get a result, but as we said on Saturday, I think there's probably a need for a lot of variables to happen. So we'll see. Go on, Paddy.
No, it's just that comment there. That was almost positive for me to say a draw. That's where we're at a bit, isn't it? A draw would be a good result.
Yeah, as we see George Long emerge. Pinker.com, the place to go pre-match during the game as well. I'll be on the live blog on the Pinker Plus app. You can come and join me over there for live coverage and debate as well. And then we'll have all the post-match analysis and reaction as well. Big night for Norwich City. Let's hope they can stop the rot. Thanks for watching.